Welcome to another episode of the Breakthrough Podcast, Discovering New Pathways. My name is Omar Mohammed, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. So, as you know, the Breakthrough Podcast is brought to you by the Minority Business Development Agency out of Washington, D.C., as well as EDAC, Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center at Morgan State University. I'm always glad to be here. So before we get to my co-host and our special guest, I just want to let you know a couple things. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at Ride Small Biz. That's Ride Small B-I-Z. All information that's related to the RIDE initiative is on our website at edacmorgan.com. edacmorgan.com. So we have this podcast, we have an Entrepreneurship 101 class, continuing education. If you haven't seen our RIDE program, if you haven't seen our RIDE University, I should say, head on over to edacmorgan.com. And we're also partnering with Returning Citizens Magazine. So head on over to EDAC Morgan and you'll learn more about that. So let's get right into it. Hey, Leon, welcome back to another segment episode of the Breakthrough Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, Omar? Hey, man, pleasure to be back again and excited to have our guest on today.
All right, good deal. Well, let's get right into it. Hey, Luvon Dungy is our special guest. Welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Omar and Leon. Look forward to this interesting, fascinating, continued, no comma, no period conversation.
There you go. Absolutely. So let's start with this, Leon. Luvon, we always ask individuals, how long have you been home?
25 years.
Okay. And, after returning home, what were your plans?
None. So let me back up. The only plan that I had, to be very honest, was to make sure that I met my parole agent when she said show up, because my other plan was not to go back into the prison system.
Yes, sir.
That was my only plan.
Stay home at all costs.
Absolutely, good brother. Absolutely.
All right. So what inspired you to get into entrepreneurship?
So I had this hidden agenda, and the agenda was nobody in this planet could know my past. I was filled with shame. I was filled with guilt. I was filled with, I needed to keep this to myself because I didn't want to be scarred. I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be ostracized because, Omar, believe it or not, I did enough of that in my private space. The universe couldn't do that to me. Let me beat myself up. Let me be my own critic. Let me say my self-deprecating prayers in my own prayer closet. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't burden the way I felt about myself, and I wasn't going to let nobody else burden me with how they felt about me.
Oh, man.
That's a good attitude to have.
Absolutely. So let's jump into your business. So what's the name of your business, and give out your website so people can, while they're listening to us, they can.
Okay. So my business is Community Solutions. We're launching a new website. It's going to be communitysolutionsre.com. Inside of that, we're doing a podcast, YouTube. We are also linking it to various social media campaigns. Insta, Facebook, Twitter, all of those. But again, it's a new brand launch. Now, again, what I realized at 55 years old, there had to be a new brand launch because the brand and the fear, the thing that I just alluded to earlier, could no longer be a part of my story. So here I am 25 years later, I'm saying, okay, I have the fortitude, I have the aptitude, I have my personal successes. Now let me share.
Absolutely. So you didn't go into what Community Solutions is all about. I know people going onto the website now, but tell us what it is.
So Community Solutions, it started out as an idea. How can we as African Americans live like others, for lack of better words?
Yeah.
How can our communities look like Canton, Fells Point, Butchers Hill, where those houses sell for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $700,000? Why is urban blight urban blight? Drywall costs what it costs, framing costs what it costs, flooring costs what it costs. If they can design it like that, why can't I design it like that in our community? And to my, I really had no plan for it to be as successful as it was. I really had no plan of that. I just had an idea that we should live better and we should live happy. We should be able to, and I coined this phrase, put the neighbor back in the hood.
I like that. Put the neighbor back in the hood. I like that.
So I do want to interject for a second. Like the idea and the concept obviously, makes a lot of sense. And you seek an opportunity, and that's what entrepreneurship is. So can you share a little bit about the opportunity, that you saw, or can you just elaborate a little bit into your purpose and just your mission behind, starting the organization?
So I, and this is interesting because I'm ready to expose a lot of myself here. I got hired by a nonprofit agency. I'm not even going to name the community, but we were the largest nonprofit developers in Maryland. So I learned the business from a nonprofit sort of side. How to give back, how to build ad hoc committees, how to build board associations, how to go out and work with the communities. And believe it or not, I started in the nonprofit space as a housing counselor. But let me back up a little bit, Omar. I was home 2 weeks. And as I said, I didn't have an idea except go to my parole officer. I was with my mother one day, and she was driving with my uncle to look for a job for him. We drive up to this building on Chase Street. He didn't want to get out and go in, real estate based. And my bravado, I got out and went in. They hired me making $7.25 an hour. I took the job because, again, I knew I had to tell those people something, and this worked for my something. About 3 months into that process of going to work every day, learning to be responsible, not just for myself, but for now my kids, I was at a board meeting, the only minority at this board meeting, and they asked what was the PITI for this one property that they were trying to do an acquisition of. I didn't know what PITI meant. And somebody across the board room said, don't ask that in nothing, because he don't know nothing. That's the first time I felt incarcerated again, Don, because I was handcuffed because I didn't know. It was at that point, and this is getting to where you are, Leon, it was at that point entrepreneurship became a total part of me. I took every real estate book in that office and read it. I went and got certified in everything real estate because I knew nobody could ever make me feel like that again.
Wow. And that's where the education comes from, bro. That's
yeah. Can't take that away from you. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So
And
fast
I applaud
forward.
your courage, and you're just.
Thank you, my friend. Fast forward 15 years later, after working in this nonprofit, I saw that there was a missing link. There was still a disconnect from us and the development. I saw that we were only willing to take what they were willing to give us. The vanilla boxes, the 2.2, bedrooms, the little gardens, the row house community. We still lived in food deserts. Yeah. We still didn't have an educational system. So when I started my journey, it was, let me land with first making a neighborhood suitable for everybody to live and attract what could now change food deserts, what could now change this economic disparity that we felt about ourselves. And then number three, that I always had in the back of my mind, children. I knew how I grew up in the hood. You notice I said in the hood, not neighborhood yet.
I got you. Yep.
Where'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up?
In Park Heights.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So believe it or not,
enough said. Enough said.
Absolutely. For those who are not from Baltimore, look it up, y'all. Yes.
So believe it or not, I went right back to Park Heights and bought 60 houses. Because I remembered what it was for me to grow up.
Yeah.
There was no going to Joanne Smith's house or Jimmy's house to play. We played outside. But I begin to understand today's kids sits in and on a record. I mean, those Atari games, iPad, iPhones, etc. So I begin to say, you know what? What if I could design a house where the kid is now proud to invite his friends into his house? What impact would we have on our children? The kid that has the house and the kids that's coming to the house. That kid that's coming to see that house, I've made an impression on him that he will not settle now. If it don't have air conditioning, if it's not fully designed, if it don't have 2.5 bathrooms, if it don't have hardwood floors, if it's not clean, I'm not doing this. To our sisters out there, it's I don't have to go with a drug dealer to have the finest things in life. I could work. I could do anything that I could do because this is what I want. I don't have to settle anymore. And I believe that as long as I was able to leave that impression, my life was fulfilled.
Yeah. And for those, hopefully on the website, I'm quite sure it's on the website, you will get a chance to see those houses that Levon is talking about. I mean, I had an opportunity years ago to see those houses. You know, again, if you don't know about Park Heights, you know, look it up, you know, and just imagine, you know, I mean, the houses are, I mean, inside and outside were just great. You know, so you did a good job with that. So Levon, you know, I want to commend you on that. And I know you've done some other work and you have this book out now.
Yes.
So tell us, how did that come about?
Again, when I turned 50, it was, I'm ready. Let's tell the entire story.
Yeah.
Let's tell about my stints of incarceration. Let's tell about my homelessness. Let's talk about my heroin and cocaine addiction. But I've been trying to write this book for 5 years, still in fear. It wasn't until I shared the story with HGTV that they were amazed and said, we're sending a film crew down. We just want to see what you're talking about and meet you. So they gave me sort of this affirmation to it was okay. And then I was sitting in a lounge that a dear good friend of mine allowed me to partner with him. And I was sharing my story with him. And he said, what if you wrote the book and sold it for $1 a piece and sold 1 million copies? You'd in fact or affect 1 million people and you make $1 million. I went home immediately and finished the book because that just made all the sense in the world to me. So the book is called The Anatomy of Residential Rehab. And it teaches you everything from the beginning of how to buy, how to look, what your team should look like, what your finances should look like, who you should work for, and what is the intent of what you're trying to accomplish.
Man, that's awesome, man. I'm excited about it because I'm from Baltimore, born and raised. And if you didn't know, I'm a real estate professional. I'm a Morgan grad. This is Leon, by the way, as well.
Okay.
That's how me and Omar was connected, is through Morgan State. And I've been co-hosting this podcast with him for a little over a year now. Also been involved with the RIDE program as a panelist and as a judge to pitch competitions. But I've been a residential real estate agent since 2017. I've sold over 130 properties in and out of the Baltimore metro area, over 18+ million in volume. I just became a team leader of the Benji Group of Coa Banker Realty. So just hearing you talk about your story and your journey, and now to see that you're making an impact in the real estate industry, it's exciting for me because I'm very passionate about community outreach and giving back as well and making a difference. And not only being someone who sells real estate, but also a leader in the community that can provide hope to young adults and youth, you know, of our community. Because I come from down the hill. I lived in Latrobe projects. You know, I sold drugs, been in prison, lived in shelters. You know, I've experienced those things at me being a 32-year-old young man. And 5 years as a real estate professional, I've learned a lot. And I see how, you know, we are disadvantaged and discriminated against within this industry. And I feel it and see it even still, you know. I've tapped into the commercial side of real estate as well. You know, I've been working with a lot of business owners and investors. And we're very, very underserved in the commercial lane. You know, so a part of my purpose and my mission is to within my organization is to help up and coming entrepreneurs that are interested in real estate, either as brokers or salespeople or investors, to provide them a platform, to give them some type of education, to help them bridge the gap, because we have all the resources that we need. We just got to come together collaboratively, and see how we can network and make more of a bigger impact, So I'm excited to partner with you, man, and see how I can provide some value with what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Leon. I look forward to that. I think just to sort of elaborate on the sense of direction that you're creating for yourself and your team, there's this other thing that I think about. There's like this psychoanalytical part in my brain. Mm-hmm. I want to know why. Why do you want to get into real estate? What are your thoughts? Mm-hmm. And I believe that once you have an opportunity to answer the why, you'll never deviate from that path. Do I want to build a portfolio? Do I want to have residual income, which is this elusive thing that really doesn't exist, but people like the catchphrase? Do I want to flip? Do I want to sustain a community? I want to know your why, because your why shows up in your behavior. Your why shows up in your integrity. Your why shows up in your relationships. Your why shows up in your honor. Your why is the thing that I want to know, because I can either run with you in your why, or I know immediately that I can't really work with you.
Absolutely. So Leon had to and Levi had to step away, but I'm back now. So did you mention the name of your book and how
I did
get it? Come on, man.
The Anatomy of Residential Rehab. You can get it right now on Amazon. And Leon and Omar, I was honored the first week that it was out there. It was voted the #1 best new book in education. So I was excited about that, my friend.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Leon, I keep saying Leon because both of y'all are real estate. Levi. So I heard you as I was stepping away, you mentioned the lounge. I didn't know what you said about the lounge. So if you don't mind reiterating.
So I was mentioning that.
You on mute, Leon.
Orion Lounge at 1101 Fillmore Street.
There you go.
Came in, saw what he had did to it, and he, allowed me into his life. Now, when I say his life, I mean his space, his lounge, his psychological thought behind it. And it was that conversation
that him and I chatted about, trying to reach 1 million people. And I'm forever indebted to him for that type of thing. I mean, it was a good conversation, which led me to finish it.
Okay. All right. Absolutely, man. So real estate, you have the book, you the part, owner in this lounge. So you're doing it. I mean, you're saying that it could be done.
Yes.
The fear that you had out there as well. So tell everybody the name of the book again and where they can get the book again, Luvon.
The book is called The Anatomy of Residential Real Estate, and it's on Amazon right now. I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited. So let me give you a shout out, Omar. Thank you very much for the number of books that you got for your organization.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to participate in your ride space. Thank you for this August is coming up. Absolutely. I really, really am excited for the newfound and old found relationships that this sort of journey has gotten me on now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man. I can't wait, So we have an event, our annual event that's coming up. We call it the Ride Impact, and it's going to take place August the 20th from 10 to 2 o'clock. We always have testimonies from people who are in the initiative, and we also have a keynote speaker. And our keynote speaker, you'll hear from Luvon Dungy, the 4th, right?
Yes.
So meet Leon Robinson, the 4th.
All right. Kindred.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll definitely hear from Luvon, his story and where he is on his journey in life. So I can't wait to hear more about that. This is just a teaser to kind of let you know that some good stuff is coming in August. So I can't wait to participate.
Yeah.
So Leon, I keep getting Leon and Luvon.
Okay.
Luvon, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts? Any advice? Any guidance you want to share?
The only advice that I would share is almost as like I started earlier. Everything you do in life, never put a period, put a comma, and then immediately say next. Run that race, put a comma, and immediately say next.
Yeah.
That is for your wows and your woes. That's for your successes and your failures. That's for your relationships. That's really for your journey. We just don't have an opportunity to put a period. We don't. So let's continue to run the race because we'll get there. And every time you run, put the new question of why in front of you and go after that why.
Give you that sense of purpose and direction. Definitely,
Absolutely.
man. Appreciate that wisdom and that insight, man. And Luvon, we definitely got to connect, man. Like I said, I love what you're doing. I'm definitely going to support you and grab your book because I'm curious to learn more. I got into the real estate industry coming from Morgan, going through the business administration curriculum and having to take the principles of real estate course. Like I just kind of fell in love with the entrepreneurship side of it. And I wanted to learn the ins and outs and also become an investor, so
Okay.
I definitely will be in touch. I sent put my contact information in the chat.
Okay.
If you could share yours, definitely make sure I keep in contact with you and see how we can network and collaborate in some way, within our community.
I'm gonna tell you how we could do it real easy. Thursdays, we have jazz over at the lounge.
That's it. Come on down.
Come on over and see really what we're doing. Bring your network, bring your relationships, bring your friends. This is a space where we all are really trying to do exactly what we're saying. Now, Leon, in the space where you're trying to inspire, want to try to encourage, want to try to lead, until we get to the why, the journey seems harder because everybody have their own why. So it'll feel like your end is one end and you're pulling 20 other ends.
Right.
If you can wind that cord a little tighter so that it's one thread, we'll get to the same place together.
Got you. Okay.
But the why is important. Yeah, the why is important.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, man.
Okay.
Good deal. That's your final thought. Again, move on your contact information once again.
And I don't want people calling me.
All right, so I'm talking about your website, man.
Community Solutions RE. We're going to launch the new one, but for right now on Facebook, it's Community Solutions. Instagram, Facebook. It's called Community Solutions. And if you want to just look me up under my name, it's Luvon, Luvon. I think it's either Dungy, Dungee, last name, or Luvon, the number 4 on Instagram.
Gotcha.
Any final thoughts, Leon?
No, sir. I'm on here following the Community Solutions Program Instagram now, man. So thanks for joining and appreciate you for how you transitioned your life, post incarceration, and you're very inspiring and providing hope, to the likes of our community and people who have gone through similar experiences. So thanks a lot.
I mean, y'all two are my heroes. Thank you, Omar, for the platform first.
Absolutely.
Because I know that's a struggle. Thank you for willing to push the boulder uphill. Thank you, Leon, for willing to carry or push Omar as he pushed the boulder. Thank you for everything that you've gone through to be an inspiration to your community, to your network, and to your family. And then more importantly, me. This whole thing for me helps me to remain the student, but it also helps me to understand that there are a bunch of possibilities. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Leon. This is all about discovering new pathways, connecting people to each other. So we definitely appreciate it. Don't forget, you can follow us on IG at Rise Small Biz. Our website is edacmorgan.com. Follow us there. Until next time we meet, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Rich La Production.